Hey, I'm making this video message for all grandparents. If there is any grandparents that's viewing this, I definitely want you all to watch this video in full, but I'm gonna try to make it quick. I want to make this video message to basically tell you, when it comes to your grandchildren and the parents of your grandchildren, know the lines to cross and know what to say and what not to say. The reason I was led to make this video message is because a lot of times grandparents, I don't want to say they abuse their position as a grandparent, but a lot of times grandparents will cross a line when it comes to how their children raise their grandchildren. And a lot of times grandparents will stick their nose in a situation that does not even concern them when it comes to their grandchildren. Let me tell you this, grandparents, I understand you are going to be concerned about the well-being of your grandchildren. It's normal. Nobody can get mad about it. You're supposed to be concerned with the well-being of your grandchildren. But let me say this. Anytime you are at odds with your child or your children about how they bring up your grandchildren, you have to ask yourself, why am I at odds with my children or my child about how they're bringing up my grandchildren? Okay, let me take this slow. You should only, as a grandparent, be angry and upset at your children as far as them raising your grandchildren if they are a drug addict, an alcoholic, if they keep dropping their children off with you and they go out and they're sleeping around, they're drinking, they're smoking, they're partying, and they're being irresponsible. And they are basically an absentee parent. In those cases, I completely understand a grandparent getting upset and snapping on their child or their children as far as how they raise and how they're bringing up their grandchildren. Because the thing is this, and I don't think a lot of parents understand, our children watch everything that we do. They watch everything we do. It's not just when they're little, they're watching us. As they get older, they're definitely watching what we do, how we walk, how we talk, our speech, how we treat other people, and basically how we live our lives. So in that case, I understand grandparents being concerned. But anytime you are passing your opinion and your 2 cents as far as why your children decide to raise your grandchildren a certain kind of way, but they're not being harmed, I just want to say you are out of line. You are out of line. You have to let your children be grown. They're grown. They're grown. Now, some of you grandparents, you may be a grandparent and you're young. You may have a child that had a child, literally. Your child had a child. And what I mean by that, some of you grandparents, you may have a child that is under the age of 20, well, under the age of 21, and they have a baby. And in that case, says they became a mother or a father, and they have not been a woman or a man. They don't really know, or they don't have the maturity level to really raise a child. So they're going to still do childish things. And in that case, I can understand you stepping in and intervening and passing your opinion or even snapping when they don't do everything right when it comes to your grandchildren. But grandparents, hear me out when I tell you, when you have a full-blown child, I'm talking about 21 and up, and they're raising your child. And as I stated, if your grandchildren are not being molested, if they are not being beat, if the mother or father is not on drugs or an alcoholic, and they are raising up your grandchildren, they dress nice, they're clean when you see them, their hair is combed or cut, they smell good, they're eating, they're going to all their doctor's appointments, you should not have anything to say to your children about how they are raising them. Are all of us perfect parents? No, we are not. I believe every parent, and I'm the first to raise my hand, all of us slack in some area when it comes to parenting. All of us do. There is no book on parenting. Well, I take that back. There literally are books, on parenting. It is. But to me, I would never read them because at the end of the day, nobody can write on paper and print out how you should be a parent because it's a day by day thing. You just go and you learn as you go. It's the same thing with when you get married. Some women don't know how to be a wife. Some men don't know how to be a husband. It's a process. It's a progression. Each day you're learning how to be a husband, how to be a wife. You learn that you don't have all of that on your wedding day. And I'm including and incorporating that when it comes to you being a parent and you have children. You're not going to know everything, as far as raising those children. But grandparents, my video message is to just tell you, chill, relax, trust that your child is doing the best that they can when they're raising your grandchildren. Trust that. Believe it. Encourage your sons. Encourage your daughters. Tell them, you know what? You're doing a really good job with my grandchildren. I may not agree with everything that you do. I may not agree with how you discipline them. I may not agree because I'm sure some of you grandparents have a child that probably never disciplines your grandchildren. But chill. Be easy. Be cool. Encourage your children. Give them tips and pointers that you use and implemented when you were raising your child or your children. But never become aggressive and scream and holler and cuss or badmouth your children as far as raising your grandchildren. That's what I wanted to make in this video message. It's weird because for the past couple of days, I've been thinking about making this video, and it's so weird. It's so unlikely that I would make a video like this. But I know so many people that are going through this as far as grandparents intervening and arguing and fighting and bickering with their children about their grandchildren. You would never believe, people. It's so many families out here right now, and they are at odds with each other as far as how them as a parent raised the grandchildren, and their mothers and fathers are not in agreement with it. So I just want to tell all grandparents, chill, just relax, trust that your children know what they're doing. Like I said, and I'm gonna say it again, encourage your children. Sometimes we need to hear you're doing a great job. I'm happy you're not in the streets. I'm happy you're not on drugs. And this is not to knock any parent that is on drugs. It's really not. But if you are, hey, God is a deliverer. He's a healer, and he will bring you out. But for the grandparents that have an issue with how your child or your children are raising your grandchildren, as long as they are not being hurt, as long as they are not being neglected, where they're hungry, where they're dirty, where they're not going to school, they're not going to the dentist, because that's critical. That's important. If none of these things are happening with your grandchildren, I completely understand you getting upset. But don't get mad about stuff and cry and make something big that's so small. Just don't do it. Don't do it. It'll be a lot easier in your relationship with your children. There will be more peace in the family. Trust your children when it comes to your grandchildren. Your grandbabies are in good hands. I feel that one of you all that's viewing this video, you need to hear this. Trust that your grandchildren are in good hands. It doesn't matter the state that they're in. The parent may not live the way you want them to live. They may not do everything right. But just trust and believe that God has your grandchildren. Pray for your grandchildren and pray for the children that's raising them.